All right, I'm here in Jimmy's Seafood, which is a wonderful place with, how do I say it is, Johnny Crabcakes, a.k.a. John Metadakis.
I think it's the other way around.
John
You get the real name first, and then you get the name.
John Metadakis, a.k.a. Johnny Crabcakes of Baltimore, Maryland. How you feeling today?
I'm great, man. I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm just a little bummed out. I mean, honestly, I told the fans that this is a remake because the audio was bad. Thanks to Foley, the show that they were playing on the air.
Yeah, I heard it was good though.
The show?
Seen it yet, yeah.
Honestly, I didn't like it until the part, which is spoiler alert, of the first episode where Dewey comes to Mick about being a writer, and Mick just tears him down, saying that writing is hard and it's very difficult because I write.
Sure.
And sometimes writing can lead you to madness. But really, SummerSlam 2016, it's in the books right now, and it was just like, it was like take it or leave it, though.
It was a zigzag puzzle, lacking direction for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it started out hot with Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy doing the Biggie tribute, and I was amazed that the Barclays Center quoted lines from Juicy with him.
Yeah, and then they proceeded to do the job at home, which is a real head scratcher.
I didn't care about that. I mean, as long as I believed in the match. I like Jericho. He's one of my favorites.
All four guys were great workers.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be upset with any outcome in that one.
Yeah, I met him. I met Jericho, and we're both Scorpios, so we got along alike. And then, it got progressively. It progressed a little bit. Like, to me, AJ Styles and Cena was the best match of the night.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
And
the Apex.
And a lot of people still say Cena sucks, and a lot of fans can't give me the reason why Cena sucks.
I think at this point, as a wrestling fan, you're programmed to say it, even though you don't believe it. It's kind of like when Kurt Angle used to come out, people would say you suck. I think it's just fun at this point to say John Cena sucks. So next one on that list is unfortunately going to be Roman Reigns. The poor guy's going to be buried via the internet community in terms of not being able to wrestle. Even though I think he puts on, great physical style matches.
I think you're late on that one because that's been going on since he won the Royal Rumble.
What I mean is, it's going to be following him for the rest of his career.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like to beat up John Cena hashtag.
That's great, yeah.
It's corny, but it's
fun
funny.
with it.
Yeah.
Gives a little humor to the serious characters.
Oh yeah, but to me, the greatest thing right now is broken Matt Hardy.
That's the best thing in the last 10 years, man.
The brother Nero and delete line.
To get, first of all, obviously you saw that it started a chant on Raw, which speaks for itself. But for this guy to totally reinvent himself in Jericho-style fashion with probably a tenth of the market, you really got to tip your hat to him.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Matt has always been in Jeff's shadow for years, and then he just comes out with this. And at first, it was a train wreck for all of us because the TNA production, they didn't do it that great, but when you saw into the character, and personally, I didn't like the final deletion match.
I thought it was the greatest thing I've seen in 5 years.
I thought it was good as far as the match, but it was too many camera cuts. Like
I was on the floor laughing, man. I thought it was the most innovative and hilarious thing that I've seen in 5 years in wrestling.
What, the oh shit chance with Jeff Hardy and the Roman candles?
Yeah, when they started, shooting the projectiles at each other. I said, this is great. The one thing that they say is that you do insanity is when you do the same thing every day and expect different results. So obviously, TNA's been struggling. They gave it a shot, and look what you have now. You got WWE copying it with a bunch of their top stars, so it's working. The internet community's talking about it. Wrestling fans are talking about it. You're seeing the Senor Benjamin shirts. I mean, it worked.
I did, and I saw the Brother Nero little Finding Nemo type meme.
Yeah, it's great.
I hope they put that on the shirt. I would actually buy that. I wouldn't wear it, but I would buy it.
I can never look at a delete button the same, put it that way.
So you do the accent also when you say delete? Delete!
He's got it down to an art, man. He's just, like I said, you got to really tip your hat to that guy. He's worked hard on his craft for decades at this point. And to be able to get the internet buzzing and to get the wrestling community buzzing this late, in the twilight of his career, the guy knows what he's doing.
Well, I want to ask you this, and I might hit you in the chest with this one, but what about the, going back to SummerSlam, what about Sasha Banks and Charlotte?
Apparently there was some politics behind that one because, the Vegas odds came crashing down hard on Charlotte right before the match. So
Really?
Oh, yeah. So
I didn't look into that.
Yeah, so whether it be an injury or an upcoming suspension, I think most people knew the outcome of that match, and I'm totally okay with that under these premise. If they're going to come out with this new title and debut it at WrestleMania, I think it's totally fine to just give this title to somebody and let them hold on to it for an extended period of time, just like Bruno Sammartino used to do, just like CM Punk did, and really give a lot of credibility to this brand new title, so that when there is a title change, as it was in the 80s and 90s, it's a huge deal for that title to change hands. It's not like the Attitude Era when the belt was changing hands, seemingly every week on Raw.
Yeah, I actually do enjoy that. Are you ready for Punk's fight on the 10th of September?
If it happens, man, I won't believe it until I see it. With that guy, I won't believe it until I see it.
I'm actually watching a documentary right now that they have for the series on ESPN. But, I mean, honestly, with SummerSlam, the Finn Balor match, I thought it was great. And I think a lot of excitement was sucked out of the crowd, not only with Finn Balor's injury the next night, but the title itself, the Universal title. I mean, it looked like Eva Marie designed it.
It seems like the universe, or whatever they're calling them these days, decided to hijack the show and went into business for themselves. And that's really a shame, because I've been of the belief that the title don't make the man makes the title. So
that's true.
Pay a little more attention to these two guys that you've been crying and bitching about for years, not getting their shot. Mm-hmm. They're headlining the second biggest event of the year. They're going to leave it all out there. They're going to leave it all out there. Great entrance by both guys, great outfits by both guys, phenomenal wrestling match. And these couple thousand jerks decided to go into business for themselves. It's a shame.
And then also, I made a post about people blaming Seth Rollins for Balor's injury, and I could put a little bit of blame on it, but he just came down hard on him and said he doesn't deserve to wrestle anymore. He did Sting that way. And there was a friend of mine that you got on because he posted on my personal Facebook, and he said he was one of the guys that said that.
Yeah, he said,
just kept making you laugh.
He also went on to say that Seth couldn't work the mic, and Seth's laugh alone is better than half the roster's mic work in general. So strongly disagree with the guy there. In terms of him not being a safe worker, let's be honest, he would not have made it to this point in his career if he was an unsafe worker. The top talents would have refused to work with the guy who's not a safe worker. At the end of the day, Sting was at the twilight of his career, had no business in that ring, definitely shouldn't have taken that bump. And Balor did extend his arm. So
I saw that video.
It's not Rollins' fault. It's part of the job. You know what you're getting into. Just like these NFL players that are suing the league now with their concussions. You know what you're getting into when you step into that ring. The same way these NFL players know what they're getting into stepping onto that football field every Sunday.
Yeah, and I thought, like I said, I thought it was a great match. It was sad to see Balor go after one day, but that's the business itself. Then after that, I seen you pop, and there was a couple of guys around you that was waiting for the next match, which never really happened, and that was Rusev versus Reigns. I mean, you're a Rusev guy.
Yeah, I love Rusev and the way he's been able to build himself back up, seemingly on his own ever since he got buried following his loss to Cena. Then getting stuck into the League of Shadows, or the League of Nations, whatever they were calling themselves.
You thought that was a burial point?
Oh, definitely. Great individual talents, but they just never clicked. Everybody knew Wade Barrett was on his way out, so you knew that guy was going to do the job every time they were in the ring.
He was one of my favorites.
Absolutely. I think Del Rio's been lost ever since he got back without his mouthpiece.
Well, personally, with Del Rio, I think he should go back to the aristocrat gimmick with the suits. But
he needs the mouthpiece. He needs Ricardo. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He's a good guy too.
Yeah, great. So you need Ricardo out there, and you have tremendous potential with those four guys. You got a brawler in Barrett, you got the Brute and Rusev with the beautiful lady next to him. You got the aristocrat, and then you got Sheamus. I mean, it's a great concept. But then when they're jobbing out 4-on-1 to Roman Reigns, you're burying them.
Well, honestly, with Lana, she's a very beautiful woman. She's married. I think they watered down her role, a little bit, because she used to speak and everybody just booed her,
right,
completely. But now, I mean, I was joking on her saying
it's hard to get 10,000 men to boo that beauty right there. That's the problem at the end of the day.
Well, I like the heat.
If she starts using some underhanded tactics, the way Maurice does, I think you'll get that heat back on her. But I think WWE's marketing her more as the top eye candy right now, so they don't want to get too much heat on her at the same time.
That and her diaper that she was wearing under the thing, I thought was funny.
But if you look at what we talked about, before we started talking here on camera, is the two top heels, in my opinion, on tapes. The two top heels right now in the company, in my opinion, besides Jericho, are Rusev and The Miz. And the one thing that the two of them do have in common is, besides the titles they hold, they have the female mouthpiece, they have the female manager. And that goes back to the 80s and the 90s, to the way things should be. when a guy's walking down with a beautiful lady next to him, it's natural inclination for you to hate the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's got the beautiful girl.
Sensational Sherry
He's got,
also.
He's got the title. He's telling me I'm nobody. I hate this guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, honestly, not to get on you personal, like Johnny, but I'm envious of you when I see you on Instagram and you're on the beach and chilling out, and I'm like, I can never be that guy.
I mean, anybody can be it. He's got to work.
Yeah, but the last match, you know, I think personally it was like a half work and half shoot. You know the way Randy was busted with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but after seeing that Miz interview yesterday, I'm starting to think that.
Oh, that was lovely.
Great. But the first thing you wake up to today is, because many people, you know, unfortunately don't watch the show, is, was it real or was it fake?
Yeah.
The same way on Sunday, people wanted to know, is the Brock Lesnar thing real or is it fake? And I think, and I hope, that WWE's finally wisening up and using the internet after all these years finally to their advantage and get these fans to wonder, is that supposed to happen?
Yeah.
And it gets people talking, and there were a lot of shares, and you know, the Miz thing got a lot of got play today, and then a lot of mainstream outlets picked up the Brock Lesnar bit. Nobody knew if it was scripted or not. So at the end of the day, the one thing Vince loves is mainstream publicity, and he's getting a ton of it right now.
I had family call me on that one. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Blood in the ring all
me too,
over?
You know, all the customers here know that I'm a huge wrestling fan, and you know they're stopping me seemingly hourly, asking me, "Hey, what? You know, the Brock Lesnar? Did you really hit that guy?" Yeah, you know.
He bled. He got. I said it a couple days ago. He got doomsday elbows. Like those things are sharp.
Yeah, man.
He needs to ban those things or shave the bones down.
I'll let somebody put me through a table before I take one of those.
I don't think I want to stand in the ring with Brock Lesnar. Period.
I've had nightmares of being locked in the cage with that guy. Can you imagine that door closing behind you and looking across the ring and seeing 300 pounds of beast staring down your neck?
Roids or no roids?
And you can't. That doesn't matter with that guy. You know, the wrestling background really legitimizes him.
Well, personally, I'm not afraid of. I mean, with him and getting popped in UFC, I'm not afraid of him. Like with the roids, I just know that I seen the videos when he was on the farm and lifting all that stuff. So so that would scare me personally.
You know, not all the guys, but a majority of the guys in WWE and UFC are on roids, and it's just a matter of getting caught or not. And I'm totally okay with that, because I'm not looking at these guys as role models. I'm looking at these guys as entertainers.
Well, let me say that again. I wouldn't say roids, but they get that substance that WWE doesn't like and ban.
There's something there that shouldn't be taken.
Yeah, but you know, you stepped in the ring yourself in June for MCW, and I enjoyed the promos by Dixon line, and you know, I was worried a little bit.
Great. They're great, man. They're extremely underrated, and they're all young guys. So I think in the next 2 or 3 years, especially with the brand split, you'll see at least, I think, one of them, you know, make it to the big time, and probably all 3 of them will end up in Ring of Honor, in my opinion.
I think personally, Ken Dixon would be a nice fit.
He's a great heel, man.
In WWE.
He's a great character, and he lives the character, which, as we talked about with Matt Hardy earlier, I mean, that's the entire battle right there. When you're just a guy that shows up and collects a paycheck and does that character for a couple hours a week, you're not going to make it. When you live that character, and that's who you are, all the respect in the world to you, man.
Well, that's called method acting, which I used to be an actor. I still act if somebody asks me to. And when you just go through it, just like remember that movie Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr. His character doused himself to be black and just lived 24/7 with a fake afro and darkened skin.
Yeah, same sort of thing with the pretty much every actor who's ever played the Joker. They go through the same exact thing on set.
What's your favorite Joker?
Well, I haven't seen the latest one yet.
Okay.
To this point, it's been Heath Ledger.
Well, I put Heath Ledger to the side because you know, he passed away and he earned an Oscar for it. I think he's better than Jack Nicholson.
Sure.
But Jared Leto, I actually liked him.
So I read today that he refused to acknowledge anybody on set unless they called him Mr. J, which goes into what we talked about earlier with the method act.
And he also sent disgusting presents to everybody on set.
It's great.
Like as a Joker.
Yeah, you got to live it, man. And you know, Ken Dixon lives it, Matt Hardy lives it, and that's why these guys are, you know, making a name for themselves, and that's why they have wrestling fans talking about them.
But how long did you train before you get in the ring?
I trained about 3 months.
Okay.
So
can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the one thing that I can say about that is I probably would never do it again, and I honestly don't know how people can do that for a living. Because I've probably played every sport there is. I've been working out my entire adult life, and it's just a different kind of sore. You're never ready for it. And I've done some light boxing, I've done some light MMA, and my body was much more sore. You're never ready to hit that mat. You're never ready to, hit those ropes. You're never ready to, go off the top rope and, be at the mercy of your quote-unquote opponent. It's a lot of trust. It's an art form, and it's not for everybody, man. It's just, I have so much respect for those guys. And after, the first week of training, I had some doubts about if I wanted to go through with it, because I had so much, not because I'm not tough enough, but because I had so much respect for those guys, watching them set up the ring, hang the banners, sweep the floors, and I don't want to be the guy that just comes in, gets the glory, and rolls out. So I wanted to make sure that I did take the bumps, that I did help those guys promote their show as much as possible.
That's even the hard work in itself to promote.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this day and age, there's so many distractions out there, so I try to pull every favor that I could. I asked Tori to help me promote it for them, and he did. He even showed up to the show. And
Torrey Smith, the former Ravens wide receiver. I'm about to say quarterback. That's Joe Flacco. So
he helped them, make it to TMZ, and it got MCW a lot of publicity. Which
I didn't see it on TMZ.
Yeah, on TMZ Sports when he hit, so we called in Justin Schlegel, of course, from 98 Rock.
Okay.
So we called in Jason Lacafora. So every favor that we could call in, we pretty much exhausted every avenue we could, because I have so much respect for those guys, and seeing them train every Tuesday and Thursday for 3, 4, and 5 hours, and some of these guys are driving an hour or 2 hours, not for a match, but just to practice.
Yeah.
Getting stuck in traffic coming from Virginia or Pennsylvania, and it really made me respect not only what those guys do in MCW, but guys at the next level what WWE do. When you're on the road 300 days a year, the first thing that came to my mind was, well, how do they stay in such great shape? How do they, find a gym? If you're in Baltimore today, you got to go to Reading, Pennsylvania tomorrow. The day after that, you're in Pittsburgh. The day after that, you're in Brooklyn. How do you find a gym everywhere? How do you find chicken and rice and green vegetables to eat every day?
Not to mention the families.
Exactly.
When you got kids and you're trying to raise them, but you can't really raise them except for with your money to pay bills and provide clothes on the back.
Yeah, there's always, unfortunately, you've seen some documentaries on some of the older wrestlers. Their kids seem to have the hostility towards them for being on the road. Meanwhile, you really can't be mad at a human being for chasing their dream, A, and B, at the end of the day, they were doing what they could to supply for their family. When you're making 6 figures for 10 years to put your kid through high school and college, how mad can you really be at me?
I think it's just like the morale thing, not the financial thing, because a lot of rich people who go out and they don't spend time with their kids is more of a morale thing. Like, you didn't teach me how to shave, you didn't teach me how to drive, you weren't there for me when I hit my first home run, and then they overcompensate them with expensive gifts.
Yeah.
And when you live your life, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just an expensive thing that you have in your hand or you're driving.
Yeah, hopefully they can come up. It'll probably never happen in our lifetime, but form some sort of union, or maybe if that
not in WWE.
If that doesn't happen, you hope at some point the government regulates it and requires them to give each wrestler 1 month off every 6 or every 4. And then it's very easy to write somebody up a storyline for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks of Raw, if somebody's missing it. You can tape an interview 1 week. You can have them get attacked a second week. It's very easy to do. And
the other companies do that, though.
Yeah, so you'll see the careers probably become a lot longer. And what happens then is the fans become a lot more attached to characters as well, which is unfortunately my favorite sport's college basketball. And with the one and done rule, you're not seeing fans become attached to players anymore. You're just a fan of the school. You don't know the players. You don't get a chance to see them grow over the 4-year span anymore, because the great players are gone for a year or 2. Whereas in the 80s, Michael Jordan was at North Carolina for 3 years. Jay Billz at Duke for 3-4 years. So Patrick Ewing was at Georgetown for 3-4 years. So you became attached to the player and the school. Now you're attached to the school.
Yeah, it's more of a money mentality. Some guys, they go to the school on loans and grants, and they want to get paid too. Sure. Because college players don't get paid. And they go through some kind of program where they get food and everything. But you being in the ring, you brought your family out to the match.
Yeah.
Like, how was it telling your family that you're going to wrestle, let alone you're going to wrestle with these professionals being lined up with Aaron Stevens, or should I say Aaron Rex in TNA, Damien Sandow WWE, and Colt Cabana.
Well, at first, nobody believed it. And and then as time went on and it went to the second month and the third month of promotion, they were like, wow, you really want to do this? I'm like, yeah. And they were like, obviously you get the roll of the eyes. You're 33 years old. You're a businessman. Grow up. What are you doing? But, the one thing that I think everybody can agree on, anybody who has a vision, is you never stop chasing your dream. And, I didn't want to be a lawyer when I grew up. I didn't want to be a doctor when I grew up. I wanted to be a pro wrestler. So.
And this is your fallback plan?
Well, yeah.
Well, you're very successful as far as fallback.
So, one day I was just driving around and, I work out, stay healthy. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. So, contacted the NCW guys who, we've done a lot of work with here through the restaurant. And they said, if I'm serious about it, we can do it. Okay.
And you trained at their...
Shanto facility up in Joplin.
Okay.
Yeah, Ken Dixon training mostly. Dixon line guys, the Bruiser, all great guys, Lio Rush. So, all
that's
guys.
An awesome dude.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how young he was.
Yeah.
I was mind blown. That guy's going to make it big.
I met him him and Patrick right before they got famous when they were Sudden Impact. And then, Patrick was on that Tough Enough show, then he got let go, and Hogan got fired because of controversial comments. And Lio Rush blew up big. He's the first two-time back-to-back Shamrock, MCW Shamrock Cup winner. And I see him on Ring of Honor. Even Snoop Dogg blew him up on Instagram.
He's big, man. He's going to make it big. He'll be a household name.
I think he already is in
2
certain
or 3
households.
years, yeah. He'll be, especially if the WWE goes through with this cruiserweight division. There's no reason why that guy won't have that scrap in a year or two.
Yeah, I think he might be in the second or third edition. Right now they're making a women's tournament from what I hear.
Okay.
But, you took your family out there. You told me that your family was very, very concerned when it was like D-Day.
Yeah, it took my family. All the customers came from here. People came from out of town. And, at this point, obviously they're probably expecting, okay, John comes out, he's got his music, he hits somebody with a stunner and gets out of there.
That was your finisher?
No. That's what everybody's expecting, shorty.
Okay.
Or an RKO, something more traditional, something mainstream that you see on ESPN or whatever.
Okay.
So, the one thing that we wanted to make sure happened was we wanted to take the audience for a ride.
Oh,
so,
man.
Obviously filmed the promos for a long time. Things got real personal. We blurred that line between what's real and what's not.
Okay.
They destroyed some property here. They mentioned my late father, and it got real personal. And
wow.
My family was contacted the Reese like, hey man, like, who are these guys coming to the bar? You better F them up. And people from like Philly and New York, same kind of thing. You better mess these guys up, dude. Like, I can't believe you let them leave your bar. Yeah. I'm like, hey man, if you want to see me get my revenge, make sure you're there on June at the MCW Arena. And here's a link for the tickets.
You sold a lot of tickets, didn't you?
So we brought them right into there, and they beat the hell out of me for probably 10 or 15 minutes of the match, if you ever get a copy of it.
I saw the pictures, though. And,
they kept doing, the heel maneuvers and bringing me back to the corner. They had me seeing stars a couple times. And Justin Schlegel, same thing, too. He was, doing the outside interference kind of thing. And, the employees, the customers, especially my family, were just irate. I could hear them cussing, and they were throwing crab mallets in the ring. My mom was crying. My godson was crying. And then finally, at the end, we did the big comeback, and the place exploded. It was a very unique feeling. It's something that I feel like everybody should experience once in their life.
Not to mention, you actually did a death-defying a high-risk maneuver.
Yeah, I went off the top rope to the outside. Sandow convinced me to do that backstage.
He got a lot of ideas.
He's a brilliant man.
I met him in WrestlePro in Jersey, and then I saw him again in Tier 1 in Brooklyn, and him and I had a talk, and I saw him in the back, and I'm sorry to break lines, but he was just like, man, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?
Same
and I'm just
kind of
like,
thing. Yeah, we had a match ready to go. We had a 25-minute match ready to go. It was a 4-on-4. And he just, pretty much in the most respectful way possible. We were all on board with it. Scrapped the entire thing, and he's like, and it worked. He got the crowd to really hate, the heels. And then when that big comeback happened, and the place, blew up.
Well,
awesome.
One thing I liked about you also when I saw the pictures were you had these Greek tights.
Yeah.
Which were modeled because of your heritage.
Yeah, believe it or not, that was like a last minute decision. Because I was so focused on the actual training and the match that, the morning of, I was like, I don't have an outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So those were a gift from a buddy of mine named Scott, who used to run the Adidas MMA line.
Okay.
So he was like, hey man, I got the Greek key here. So he gave me them as a gift, and I've never worn them. I've had them sitting there for like 3 years. So the day of, I put like 4 or 5 different outfits into the gym bag, headed to the arena. And about 10 minutes before we went out, RJ, the bruiser, said, no, man, you got to go with the Greek thing.
Okay.
Before that, I was going with the MMA style shorts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I had the MMA wraps and everything. He goes, no, man, you're Greek. And you're proud to be Greek. Everybody knows you're Greek.
Mm-hmm.
You got to wear the Greek key.
I agree.
So, I was like, well, the white clash, I'm wearing all black. He's like, wear the Greek key. And then it's funny how some of the best decisions in anybody's life are just these spur of the moment decisions. So, my family in Greece was real happy with that when they saw it.
They flew in from Greece?
No, but they were contacting me because they saw the videos on Facebook and social media and then on the website. And then when I went there recently to visit, they were like, that was awesome how you wore the Greek key out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because that really was just not planned. I have probably 3 or 4 outfits that I was going to wear before that. And that was about 10 minutes before I went out there. I changed that up.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think personally there should be a Johnny Crabcakes figure after your look in the Greek tights. And then also, one thing I asked an employee about the other night was your Crabcake City shirt that's modeled after Suplex City and Brock Lesnar. I could not believe it when I saw it.
Is it, or is the Suplex City shirt modeled after
it
the
can be.
Crabcake
It
City
can be the
shirt?
same thing.
It's funny because anytime like a non-wrestling fan is in the bar or in the restaurant, and they've obviously all seen the Crabcake City shirt to this point, both versions of it, the green and the red, which Brock may or may not have copied as well. They always do a double and triple take, and they think that the WWE copied our T-shirts.
Oh man!
And in fact, we've got probably 7 or 8 shirts that we've modeled after WWE shirts.
Mm-hmm.
We've done the John Cena Champ is Here one, with the Jimmy's belt. I mean, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I'm a bigger fan of their marketing and the way that they tie the fans into the product.
Yes.
And that's been my biggest thing with the turnaround of this place is, if you're a customer here, you're part of us. You come in here one time, you're part of the family. And
I felt that way.
And that's what we want everybody to feel. You just gotta get them in here one time, man. Mm-hmm. It's not the best destination. I'm not gonna lie about that.
It's the best seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
Nobody's walking here by accident. You gotta get in the car and make a decision. I'm going to Jimmy's today. You're not at the bar up the street or the restaurant up the street or across the street. You're like, I'm going to Jimmy's. And then when you come in here, it's our job to make you feel as welcome as possible, and to get you a Crabcake City shirt, to get you a Jimmy's hat, to learn your first name, to know where you're going to school, to know your job. That's our job.
Okay, well, I think a lot of people would know Shin-Blade of Shy Lounge and what I do going on the road and reporting, so they would know at least about a couple months later. But this is the best, the 2016 seafood restaurant of, I think, not only Maryland, but of a certain region. You guys won a big award.
Yeah, it's actually we won the 2016 Bar of the Year for the entire state of Maryland.
Yes.
And it's not some rinky-dinky, 500 people voted in a poll, crash contest. This is from the Restaurant Association of Maryland.
Yes.
So, in the history of the Restaurant Association, which every bar and restaurant must belong to, okay, there's only been one establishment that's won Restaurant of the Year and Bar of the Year.
Okay.
And that's us. So in the history of the state, only one place has been able to basically unify the titles the way Jericho did, and that's us.
You won it both in 1 year?
Well, you can't win them both in 1 year.
Okay.
But you can win them. Nobody's won them 10 years apart. Nobody's won it 20 years apart.
Okay.
Nobody's won it 30 years apart. There's only one place that's ever won both, and that's right here.
This year was Bar of the Year?
Bar of the Year 2016, Restaurant of the Year 2014.
Oh my God.
So,
but for
we're doing work, man. We're doing work.
But for people in Baltimore, Maryland, or whoever comes to Baltimore, Maryland, come out, check out Jimmy's Seafood. It's a great place. It's so great that I get indecisive looking at the menu.
And then everything is great. That's why, you know, there's so many cliches in the restaurant business. What's fresh? Everything's fresh. What should I get? You can't go wrong. That's the truth here. I stand by every item on that menu, every drink on our cocktail list, every dessert, every server, every bartender. You're going to get a phenomenal experience. You're not going to get the same experience because everybody, the same way, you know, 100 superstars are different, but they're all great. I have 100, superstars here behind the bar, on the floor, in the kitchen, and they all have unique personalities, and they all shine through in different ways.
I'll tell you one thing. I've been interested in restaurants ever since Gordon Ramsay's show Kitchen Nightmares, because it made people more aware. And then also one of my favorite movies was called Chef with Jon Favreau. But, Johnny, I love talking to you. I would like to come back for Survivor Series recap with you. Maybe Backlash if things go good.
We'll get RVD on here, too, when we do the Survivor Series show.
Excuse me?
We'll get RVD on here.
Sure. I would love to do that. I'm a big fan of RVD.
Yes, he's going to do a stand-up comedy tour here right before SummerSlam. Survivor Series.
Okay. But also, you have another show coming up next month. In September. Not really a show, but it's the day before MCW has their convention.
So we'll have Jim Ross and Cornette. Gosh, you got so much wrestling stuff going on.
Well, I'll tell you the truth.
If you stumble across our Twitter page and you're not familiar with the restaurant, you probably think we're like an indie promotion or something.
Yeah.
We got so many wrestling jokes on there and all our cocktails. Have you seen our drink list?
I try to retweet every night as much as I can.
It's all wrestling inspired, drinks, and obviously if you look at the Wall of Fame here, it's all football players, basketball players, and pro wrestlers. So
also. You guys are fans of Baltimore Ravens and the Orioles. Of course, I'm a fan of the Ravens and Orioles by osmosis because of where I grew up in Norfolk, Virginia. Okay. They had the Norfolk Tides, so I just became that. And I'm a big fan of Adam Jones. So one day on the all season, I would love to get Adam Jones on my show.
I'm sure he would do amazing. He is a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah, I just got to get to the right people though.
I'll make it happen for you.
Oh, thank you. But Johnny, please. Give the fans your social media.
Check us out on Instagram at Jimmy Seafood. So the double S right there when it gets tricky. Same thing on Twitter, Jimmy Seafood double S. And then, of course, we're on Facebook at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. And we got a YouTube channel that probably got to get a little work done too.
Oh, don't worry. I like to help you on that one as much as I can. Not only I do podcasting, reporting, but I network and then also try to, give back as far as helping, I love helping people.
We've got a lot of videos that I get them back on the YouTube channel, so it's hard to run all the pages at once,
Yeah, I'm going to try to do the same thing. Once winter comes, my indie wrestling travels will be limited because I have like two, three promotions under my belt that I work for. But like I said, you run a great restaurant. I would love, if I could, I would bring a camera crew in here and put on my Shy blog. But thank you very much.
Of course, man. Thank you for coming
in. I'll see you down the road.
You got it, brother.